A day in the life of Bill Gates. Bill Gates is one of the wealthiest men on the planet. The Microsoft founder has thrown himself into charitable work in recent years. Gates and his wife Melinda run the philanthropic Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. His daily routine is often quite busy and varied, as he travels the world and launches new initiatives. Here's a look inside the daily schedule of Bill Gates. What does one of the richest men in the world get up to all day? Since stepping down from the helm of Microsoft in 2006, Gates has thrown himself into the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which donates money to research and charitable organizations. Apart from work, Gates claims to enjoy the chocolate cereal Cocoa Puffs, but his wife Melinda told Betsy Lane High School students that he usually skips breakfast. As the years have gone by, Bill Gates has gone from regularly pulling all-nighters while building Microsoft to understanding and advocating the importance of sleep. Once or twice, I stayed up 2 nights in a row. I knew I wasn't as sharp when I was operating mostly on caffeine and adrenaline, but I was obsessed with my work and I felt that sleeping a lot was lazy, he wrote on his blog. Today, Gates regularly gets at least 7 hours of sleep per night. Upon waking up, how does one of the world's richest people spend his day? Although Bill Gates' daily routine can be widely varied, there are certain rituals and habits that he sticks to every day. Gates starts his day in his private gym, where he spends an hour working out on the treadmill. During this time, he watches DVDs from the teaching company's Great Courses series. On some morning, he learns about geology or meteorology. On others, it can be oceanography or U.S. history. Following his exercise session, Gates usually catches up on the latest headlines from around the world by reading the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and The Economist. He is particularly invested in topics related to public health policy, sharing his thoughts on his blog and via Twitter. According to The Telegraph, Gates follows a very similar routine to Elon Musk, breaking down his daily schedule into 5-minute intervals. In order to keep track of his plans and ideas, he regularly jots down notes and ideas. Though Gates has stepped back from day-to-day operations at Microsoft, a 1994 profile piece in Playboy gave readers a good idea of how the billionaire founder spent his workdays. Gates is part scientist, part businessman, and he's surprisingly good at both roles. If he's not flying off somewhere, his day is an endless series of meetings. Gates cruises the Microsoft campus at a breakneck pace to check on the progress of his young, idealistic, and fiercely competitive programming jocks. Wired magazine calls them microserfs. He listens to presentations, praises some ideas, and criticizes others as the stupidest thing I've ever heard, the dossier revealed. Every day, Gates sets aside a set amount of time to read a book, with the businessman claiming that he reads around 50 books a year. He often recommends some of his favorite titles he has read recently on his blog. Upheaval by Jared Diamond, 9 Pints by Rose George, and A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles were just a few of his favorite picks for 2019. Away from exercise, work, and reading, he likes to spend as much time as possible with his 3 children, often touring unusual locations with his son. According to an interview with Quartz magazine, on weekends, one of his favorite pastimes is to play the card game Bridge. His wife Melinda revealed in a past interview how their typical evening routine goes. Bill and our daughter Phoebe and I try to have dinner as often as we can together, usually around 6 p.m., sometimes as late as 7 p.m. Dinner is usually a mix of whatever Phoebe and Bill and I like, anything from Mexican food to Asian to steak dinners or fish. I try not to work after dinner. That was kind of a mantra I made for myself about 4 years ago. I'll often read, talk with Bill, and then generally, I'll watch something relaxing before bedtime with Bill or Phoebe. To unwind at the end of a busy day, one of the Gates' preferred options is to do some household chores, telling the readers of his Reddit AMA session that he finds washing the dishes quite enjoyable and a way to de-stress from the day. Other people do volunteer, but I like the way that I do it. Before going to bed, he will typically read for an hour before ensuring he gets 7 hours of sleep each night. Speaking to the Seattle Times, he said, "Even though it's fun to stay up all night if I have to be creative, I need 7 hours. I can give a speech without much sleep, I can do parts of my job that way, but in thinking creatively, I'm not much good without 7 hours. Bill Gates achieved a lot in his mid-20s. After taking a leave of absence after 2 years of school at Harvard, the young tech wizard formed a computer software company with his high school friend Paul Allen. That company, of course, would become Microsoft, the most valuable publicly traded company in the world. Gates' success brought him much financial gain. He was the wealthiest person on Earth from 1995 to 2017, with an astounding net worth of $89.9 billion. Although you may not be striving to be one of the wealthiest people on Earth or building a giant software company, you can definitely see why building your own routines would be extremely beneficial. Gates wrote his first software program at the age of 13 in high school. He helped form a group of programmers who computerized their school's payroll system and founded Traf-O-Data, a company that sold traffic counting systems to local governments. In 1975, Gates, then a sophomore at Harvard University, joined his hometown friend Allen to develop software for the first microcomputers. They began by adapting BASIC, a popular programming language used on large computers, for use on microcomputers. With the success of this project, Gates left Harvard during his junior year and with Allen formed Microsoft. His sway over the infant microcomputer industry significantly increased when Microsoft licensed an operating system called MS-DOS to International Business Machines Corporations, then the world's largest computer supplier and industry pacesetter. For use on its first microcomputer, the IBM PC, after the machine's release in 1981, IBM quickly set the technical standard for the PC industry, and MS-DOS likewise pushed out competing operating systems. While Microsoft's independence strained relations with IBM, Gates deftly manipulated the larger company so that it became permanently dependent on him for crucial software. Makers of IBM-compatible PCs or clones also turned to Microsoft for their primary software. By the start of the 1990s, he had become the PC industry's ultimate kingmaker. Largely on the strength of Microsoft's success, Gates amassed an immense paper fortune as the company's largest individual shareholder. He became a paper billionaire in 1986. Within a decade, his net worth had reached over the tens of billions of dollars, making him by some estimate the world's richest private individual. With few interests beyond software and the potential of information technology, Gates at first preferred to stay out of the public eye, handling civic and philanthropic affairs indirectly through one of his foundations. Nevertheless, as Microsoft's power and reputation grew, and especially as it attracted the attention of the U.S. Justice Department's Antitrust Division, Gates, with some reluctance, became a more public figure. Rivals, particularly in competing companies in Silicon Valley, portrayed him as driven, duplicitous, and determined to profit from virtually every electronic transaction in the world. His supporters, on the other hand, celebrated his uncanny business acumen, his flexibility, and his boundless appetite for finding new ways to make computers and electronics more useful through software. Currently 65 years old, Gates is the third richest man in the world behind Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. He continues to inspire millions across the globe, and yes, he makes more and more money. What do you admire it most about Bill Gates? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Oh, and turn on post notifications.